Welcome to the Path Part 4?
I don't know. I'm not in charge. I'm
Yeah,
here to watch bad things happen to these little ginger kids.
Yeah, it's Part 4. And I'm going to double check because I actually can't remember if it's Ginger or Rose next. So we're going to look it up because I have the order of the girls written down.
I'm gonna put my money on Rose.
It's probably
She's the one on the floor,
Rose.
Right? One that's drawing on the rented apartment floor. Like, Rose, girly pop. Okay. You gotta fix that.
Ginger is actually the next oldest. She is 13 and Rose is 11.
Beans! I can't win. Well, I was right. Like,
but I am excited because her death is one of the ones that freaks me out the most.
She's got a look to her. She's got like a little sort of blue sprig of something on the top of her head.
Yeah, she's like tomboy who clearly doesn't want to, doesn't want to deal with that girly shit, and she's just turning 13.
Obviously, you can tell she's just started shopping at Hot Topic, and she's wearing 2 belts at the same time.
Trust me, you'll get what I mean a little more when we get a little further with her. Also, I forgot that we can skip this.
Yeah, skip that shit. These
closing my browser
so that we get 40 times.
Yeah.
What is on the back of her? It's like a fun little feather.
Yeah, it's like a little it's a crow feather.
I was about to say, okay, what are the names of those little creatures? Quails. Quails that got like a single weird feather dangling off their little bird foreheads.
Where do we go? Let's just pick here.
Grab that crow. Grab the bird.
We gotta fucking go get some flowers and some objects. And look, you can see where the other places we visited are on the map now, so you can see like the campsite and the ruined theater.
Ooh.
And I'm sure at some point we will run into the... Do you notice how her forest feels a lot more foggy?
Yeah, it's giving Silent Hill the woods.
God, we should play a Silent Hill game together for a recording sometime. I don't care whose channel we do it on, but first, after the path, we've got to do, Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, we got a big old queue list of games we just want to inflict on each other.
Once you're done being consumed by the monkeys.
Listen! Okay, here's, me getting up on my little soapbox. Everyone go play Great God Grove. Everyone. I don't care who you are. Go play it now.
I need you to, get on call with me one day and just play it for me.
I do, because it's such a fun, wonderful... I've never had a game that has consumed my brain so deeply.
Oh yeah, you just finished up Smile for Me as well.
Yeah, I just finished...
You're in the Yugo Limbo hole.
I'm in the hole. I'm in the hole.
You've become consumed as I was.
Except it's for the funny little blue monkey people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they are my babies. They're my guys. They're my little goons.
Your babies that you want to kiss.
See, when you look at the busy boys from Great God Grove, that is what a goon should be. It shouldn't be someone trying to whack off for a really long time.
It should be a guy who, in a, the oldest versions of the Batman comics are, there in the base, and when Batman breaks in, they're like, "It's the Bat!
It's the Bat! Everyone sounds like they're from the Bronx. It's like, get out of here. The best Philly cheesesteak is not in Philly. It's in downtown Queens."
You've probably noticed that Yugo Limbo, their art style is this permeated mix of,
60s, 70s energy.
Yeah, mixed with, for some reason, a lot of Brooklyn people.
Yeah, and I'm kind of high-key fascinated with it. I'm like, I didn't know I wanted these two things to touch.
You know how I have a bizarre, fascination with a very large fondness for hippies and hippie-type fiction? Yeah, that's Yugo Limbo's fault.
Listen, I can't argue because
they're also why I like giant men.
It's I have the same thing, but it's for the 1920s, the romanticized 1920s, not the actual 1920s, because a lot of the 1920s was very depressing if you were disabled, a woman, or a person of color, or
That's-
queer.
That's why you explore those themes through
actually,
metaphors.
I won't lie. It was a pretty good time to be queer back then. Before the 50s happened.
Yeah.
And then everything got ultra conservative.
To be fair, that's because there was like a surprising amount of homosexual mobsters.
Yeah, it's a weird amount. Like, you'd be surprised.
But
like,
we don't talk about the one pair of queer twin mobsters.
Yeah, they had their own movie, and honestly,
we're not touching that.
Like, I've seen bits and pieces of the movie, and I know it's good. But when you read like the real life Wikipedia, it's like, ooh,
incest.
Incest.
Yeah.
Fucking flowers in the attic situation.
God, we are 3 minutes into this and we're already talking about age-restricted topics.
Okay, well let's switch it up. Let's switch it up. I'll hit you with a different one. So what was your favorite Care Bear?
Deadass Lionheart or Braveheart Lion.
Mine was Lucky Bear. I don't know why, but I just sort of got assigned Lucky Bear.
So Braveheart Lion was my favorite growing up because I specifically had the Care Bears family. I had a few of them on video. So it was like the 80s one right after the movie where they introduced the Care Bear cousins.
Oh yeah.
And I was obsessed with it.
What were the Care Bears' purpose anyways? Like, are they supposed to like help
you know how
manage their feelings?
Yeah. Basically, you know how in the one season of My Little Pony, Twilight and her friends got sent off on, like, missionary shit to spread the magic of friendship?
Don't say missionary shit.
That's what it fucking was, though! Like, the ponies were...
Jehovah's Witness horses.
The ponies were, like, not even that, more like, you know, the Catholic kind.
They went on, like, weird little quests to go help essentially small-scale wars not happen.
But also the fact, well, no, I mean, like, we have to teach the other races of the world about friendship, because clearly they're not doing it right. That was an actual plot point.
Yeah, I recall.
The ponies were, it's funny how racist the ponies were.
Like, on one hand,
they're like, we have, our different tribes have to come together so we can be a little less racist about everything else in the world that's not a pony.
Like, I personally, I think the Yaks had it together. They're like, listen.
Oh yeah, the Yaks are fine.
Yeah, the Yaks are fine. They were like, yeah, listen, we have friends, it's just how we display emotion is kind of weird and different compared to you.
To be fair, though, like, the Yaks were down to party pony style. Like, they love Pinky.
Yeah, they love her. They're rocking with the,
They just didn't like people trying to fucking... They just didn't want people patronizing their culture.
They don't like a cultural appropriation.
They want you... They're here for you to share your culture, asshole.
It's like, I don't go to China to experience America. Except I would love to go eat a Chinese McDonald's.
I've heard it's better. Like, in Japan?
I've heard, like, a lot of, weirdly enough, I want to go try an American burger in Japan.
So, like, I can see your point. I want to try an American fast food place in, like, the Nordic countries, because I've heard you can get alcohol there.
Can I get a Big Mac and a beer?
You cannot stop me. I am never still.
You can't stop me! I have undiagnosed ADHD!
Stalky!
I'm walking through the woods barefoot. I'm gonna get ringworm.
So fun fact, I never wore shoes until I was like 12. I would find ways to avoid wearing shoes, and even now I only wear the same, I've been wearing the same Skechers, like, rubber flip-flops that don't have an in-between-the-toes piece since... Yeah. For 7 years, and all the traction has worn down on the bottoms, and I keep slipping and eating shit.
Okay, I mean, same. What do you think my house shoes are? They're just a pair of, like, little slide-ons.
Anyway.
Curtains are great. You can hoist them, like sails, to go on adventures.
Yeah, you can see that.
Look at her go. Yeah!
Oh yeah, I figured out why we couldn't get Carmen to sit on this bench. the first time we did this, and it's because she was in front of the front row, but the pathing read is for the second row, but it wouldn't tell her to like walk around it.
Wow.
This game's old. And it looks like Ginger can't path to the bench.
It's not on her path. God, okay.
This is why I invite you here.
So, fun thing. When I was a kid, we have like a big set of woods in our backyard, and I would love to go down there and play. All the time, there's like a little sort of ditch that runs through it, and when it rains, it's a creek, and you build bridges and find a good big stick, collect moss, so you could like, put it somewhere else, make a big old moss rug, build houses, develop an intricate economy based in acorns.
Oh yeah, we just had acorn fights. Also, when you were done with that, I realized we can read what Ginger says about some of this stuff.
Ooh. But yeah, I was just gonna wrap it up with that. All kind of stopped when I realized that we are host to at least 3 of the 5 venomous snakes of North America because they are waterborne snakes.
You got the moccasins.
Moccasins, cottonmouths, and copperheads. One of those 2 may be the same.
So, like...
I bet it can make us explode somehow. God.
She's so you as a kid, honestly.
A feather. From my collection. I did collect feathers as a kid, because we have geese across the road. I don't think this is edible anymore. Don't eat the bird.
But, like, you can tell she's that kind of kid that was making, like, potions in the woods and shit.
This could be an interesting tool for my secret lab.
Like, everything is an
needles.
Everything is an adventure. Everything is, like, a story to be written. Because you choose to be oblivious to the real world. Because you're just a kid.
Hello, little bear. You can be my sidekick. Ooh, the docks. The Doc Martens.
This is like an old work boot, but it doesn't look like she has anything to say about it.
If I throw this on the wind, I bet it would fly really far. I can see everything here, and no one can get to me. See, okay, that's how you fall out of a fire tower.
Well, that's not a fire tower, that's the playground.
Oh, I thought it was looks like a fire tower to me.
It's meant to be like the climbing thing, but I can absolutely see what you mean. But also, it could be because you have been drawing my fucking fire tower, Gremlin Russ.
Well, no, I was like thinking of recently of that movie that came out a while back called In a Brutal Nature.
Ooh, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, so it's weirdly paced. It's like POV, you are the serial killer, and you're gonna go do a kill. Because these guys or kids or teens, they're always teens. They're always horned up teens.
Well, of course.
If they're not horned up teens, I don't think a slasher will appear.
So, I'm gonna say it, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it. Slasher movies were originally meant to be scaremongering against underage sex.
See, no, I have posed this question before to other people. I play a game where it's like people get into my car, I lock the doors, and I'm like, do you think Friday the 13th was a purity play to enforce purity values against sexuality and promiscuous behavior at the threat of being murdered? Let's talk about it. And then they frantically jiggle the door handle, and I'm like,
except then you have me.
I'm driving!
Except then you have me. And I turn to you and I'm like, yes, I do actually.
Yeah, because that's like a strong running theme in horror movies, is that if you have coitus outside of marriage, you are going to get stabbed by some 8-foot tall dude with strong opinions. But yeah, in a brutal nature, spoilers. Well, not spoilers. You sort of learned this early on, I think. The killer, when he was a kid, he fell from a fire watch tower, and he broke his neck, I think, or he died.
We love undead killers, especially.
We love him. We love undead killer. You know what? A little forehead kiss for all my undead killers, but then I gotta sanitize my lips because y'all are rotten.
Well, it's fine. If you kiss Bimbette, she wears a mask.
Yeah.
So you're safe.
I kissed Jason on his little forehead. platonically. I kiss Leatherface on his little forehead, platonically. I don't kiss Ghostface, I just sort of push him down a flight of stairs. Because you bore me. You bore me.
It's funny, I like Ghostface because he's wacky, but I feel like his later movies weren't as good.
Okay, a hot take. When people ask me what's the scariest horror movie you've ever seen, and I go Stepford Wives, they're like, that's not a horror movie. I'm like, it's a fucking nightmare.
I actually don't know about Stepford Wives.
Oh, it's like,
I don't actually know totally what a Stepford wife is. You want to inform me?
Okay, so I may have to I'm gonna Google up the correct definition because my definition may be different. But Stepford Wives, it's like, imagine being trapped in the 1950s with the knowledge of today. Okay.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare.
The story concerns Joanne Eberhardt, a talented photographer, wife, and young mother, who suspects that something in the town of Stepford is changing the wives from free-thinking, intelligent women into compliant wives dedicated solely to homemaking. As her friends slowly transform, Joanna realizes the horrific truth.
Can I ask what... spoilers for anyone who wants to watch this movie. I want to know what the horrible truth is.
It depends. Because there's the movies, and then there's the original book. In the original book, the leader.
Tell me your favorite.
Okay, so my favorite is from the movie, where it's revealed that the lead man, the mayor of Fartville or whatever his name was, he used to be a Disney engineer, and he's just replacing all these women with robots, or implanting chips on them to make them subservient and obedient, docile 1950s aesthetic wives.
Gross.
Then it's revealed that he's a robot, and that it was his wife who made him, because she just wanted a simple, easy life like that. And it's like, bitch, you can't do that.
It's fine if you want to do that for yourself, but don't fucking make it everyone else's problem.
and don't act like it's you're living better. It's whatever.
It's like that. It's like that thing I see where it's trad wives shitting on other people's lives, which the trad wives is just the Stepford Wives in real life.
Trad wives, but with no shoes.
It's worse. I don't understand people who get really offended about how other people live their lives when literally nobody is stopping you from living like that.
Yeah, that's the part of currently the joy of a free country, is that you can go out.
As long as we can call it free.
Yeah, as a political topic, that is the joy. You have the right to go out, buy a piece of property, go raise chickens, and then realize that you're farming.
Yeah. Go grow blackberry bushes. Funny thing, my sister and soon-to-be brother-in-law have continuously talked about the concept of building me a witch hut, basically, when they eventually get their own property, and just having me live on their property on the edge of the woods.
Okay, but that's so fun. That's what rich Renaissance people did back in the day. They just have a hermit on the property.
I want to be the mysterious hermit that you're led to believe might be the freaky villain of a children's mystery novel, and then it turns out I'm the one trying to stop the fucked up shit.
You're the one who's trying to contain the ancient evil that has been sealed in the great oak tree in the dead of wood.
I should do that with Russ. I should bait and switch with Russ at some point. Maybe it won't be Russ, but I have a lot of characters I could bait and switch with and echo back.
In context,
I'm writing a campaign.
Chilibara here is wow. They are making a campaign, and it is decadent. Decadent.
Correct that. Me and Stalky are making a campaign, because you have had just as much hand in this world building as I have.
I'm a secret keeper, but
They're
I
also
have
helpful.
A goldfish brain.
Yeah, and you also don't know what's gonna happen to Goya, and it's torture for me because I want to tell you so bad what happened to him.
I'm just sitting here holding my toes, wiggling back and forth. Uh-oh. Bird! Bird!
Oh, we accidentally found the wolf.
Oh my god! Little girl, get away from that middle-aged man!
That's not a middle-aged man, that's just a scarecrow. That's the scarecrow we took the pumpkin from last time.
Oh, I couldn't tell. It's those hips. It gave dad bod.
You're so valid. I can probably fake some crop circles by just running around. There's the wolf.
Oh, hey, casserole.
Grandma jump scare.
Oh, Jesus! I looked down for 1 minute to look lovingly at my cat, and then...
Anyway, there's our wolf. For Ginger.
Is it a fairy?
It's a girl. It's a little girl. But we're not ready to see her yet. I want to do some more running around as Ginger first. Because we haven't filled this hour yet.
As gender?
Ginger.
I mean, TBH. Okay, so yesterday at work, I work at a library, she said, probably for the nth time.
Well, it's always good to remember in case someone just clicks this video randomly for a guide on gender.
Yeah.
Ginger.
I am a librarian.
God damn it.
And a family came in, and the teen girl that was with them, the disaffected looking, God, that mask is freaky. Disaffected teen
That's not a
girl,
mask, that's the grandma's face.
She looked the way I wanted to be in middle school. She had the fishnet gloves. She had the smoky eye with the sharp, razor-sharp cat's eye. She had the, like, ombre red in the middle, fade to black around the edges lipstick. She had, like, 3 different rosary-looking necklaces. She had, like, 3 belts on. I was like, God, this kid rips.
God, I've seen people like that, and it's like, I don't know if I want to kiss you or if I want to be you when I see adult goth women.
Oh yeah, I think it's a hoot anytime I see like a heavy goth out in the wild.
Oh yeah.
Out in the wild. But like, it was like I complimented her necklace. I was like, God, I love your necklace. Your whole look, mwah, 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 delicious.
As someone who works at the public, I've realized,
The dog, one moment. I may have to close the door. The dog is losing his mind.
Oh no, well if it makes you feel better, it's not picking up.
Well, that means someone's coming home, which I suspect it may be my brother. He has been at school.
I forget that you have, like, multiple brothers.
I have 2. One lives in his own place. The other one lives next to me. And I wish he'd turn off his goddamn alarm in the morning, because I can hear that shit through the walls.
I'm so paranoid of my alarm because, like, I share a wall with my sister and future brother-in-law. Like, I'm trying to be quiet now because I worry about them, like, overhearing, and I don't want to disturb anyone.
Oh yeah. That's how I feel when I do any recordings or anything. Like, I like politely shut the door. But then the cat wants in. And then he wants out.
Maybe you should just, I mean, do you guys own your home? You could just install a cat door.
I'm tempted. I'm very tempted to just put in a cat door, because I am tired of having the...
Stalky, what are you doing with that electric wood saw? I'm fixing the problem!
Okay, but you're not wrong. Sometimes I just walk into my room with, like, tools, and people are like, what are you up to now? And I'm like, I'm installing shelves!
And they're just like, okay...
Like, when I got my bookcase, I got a new bookcase many, many moons ago now, but I had to assemble it.
How's that bookcase doing, by the way?
Oh, it's fabulous. It's real crowded and cluttered now.
Oh, you love it.
But I had to assemble it, and my brother, the one who lives next door to me, had the flu, so my mom wants in again. Roll. Not you! My brother was at the door. He went me out real deeply.
That caught on the mic!
Yeah. He had the flu, and my mom was like, hey, if you're gonna put that together, just be sort of quiet about it. Your brother's trying to rest. And I'm like, okay. And immediately it went, burr, 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 burr. I just assembled a bookcase as loud as humanly possible.
Sibling.
Not intentionally.
Okay, but, like, I like to believe that was your instinctive cane instinct.
No, it was like, nails are hard. to put in.
But also,
Nailing things is hard.
I need you to realize that deep meow got on the mic and it was really funny.
This is like the deepest meow. Like,
because it was just like I just hear the most tender like casserole and then meow, not you. And
I don't know how it started, but this entire at least me, my dad, and my brother, we all sort of meow at each other as like a universal greeting to like let each other know we have entered the room.
Yeah.
So
I know you don't. You're probably never the type to like start Twitch streaming, if I remember right. But if you ever did, I have an opinion, and that is if you have a little donation jar, you need to put Cass in it.
please donate to my cat's needs.
Drown
so
my
needy.
cat in this donation jar of snacky treats. Because on Twitch, if you use the correct outside browser source, you can actually draw your own bits and stuff. So you could have it be snacky treats poured down onto casserole.
Better yet, I just make it into casserole dancing on a strip pole. Make it rain.
I'm sorry, I'm
Make them
just
dance.
imagining like the like that old like 2000s I'm a kitty cat video.
And dance, 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 and a dance, dance, dance.
Casserole is the right level of fat for that.
He is so morbidly obese.
Is he on a
Like,
diet?
Absolutely not.
He probably
Well,
should be.
I try. He's like, we've never owned a tomcat before. Correction, not a tomcat.
He's a eunuch.
He got eunuch. He's my little eunuch. But he is naturally just much bigger than our other cat, Beezy, who is very, very small, and she's little. But I assume he's like the size. The vet didn't comment on it. I was like, hey, just to be sure, he's like the correct weight and size for a cat his age and breed, right? And she's like, yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Oh yeah, tomcats get
boy.
chonky.
Yeah, he's chonky, and he's also very food motivated.
If you're really worried about it, you know what I think you could get him is one of those big ass cat wheels.
I would love to see him on a fucking cat wheel. I would love to see that man jog. This Garfield-esque boy jogging.
Put him
Hey,
in a
boy.
little sweatband.
God, I don't remember what those workout videos from the 80s were called. It's like someone's name.
Richard Simmons?
No, some blonde lady with big tits.
You could look it up. You're not playing the game. You have access to Google.
You're right.
At this
Sweat
point, though, I
Goofy.
feel like we should absolutely start an actual podcast that is just us talking about shit over horror games. Like, I used to have this idea for a podcast called Topic Jumpers, which is you start with one topic, and you see how far away you end up just through sheer ADHD incompetence by the end of the hour.
Jane Fonda! That was the lady.
That sounds like a porn name. Jane Fondle or something.
Probably. I mean, like, I'm not playing this game, you are. I'm just here for color commentary. Let's look up Jane Fonda. What'd you do before you were exercise, girl?
I assume she's the one all the 80s, like, exercise outfit art is based on now.
Probably.
It's like
She had some big hair.
you either had her in her big bubbly hair and her, like, 0-inch waist, or you had, Richard Simmons in his giant cock bulge. I just said that on YouTube.
She's still alive.
I mean, I assume so. The 80s weren't insanely long ago. Oh, hey, look, we finally found something for Ginger.
Oh, hey, a tree. Touch it. Touch the tree.
Oh, look at her go.
Oh, look. I could never do that as a kid.
I could never do that either because I am very physically unhealthy.
I just don't have the upper body strength. to pull
Small
myself
things
up.
move fast. Now you see me, now you don't. You gonna climb out of the tree?
Nope, she lives there now.
Okay,
Oh,
there.
she was
I had
the
to prompt
lady.
her.
She's the lady who did that famous pose where her like legs are straight up in the air.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah, you're gonna want to see this. Everyone watching her
I might.
Google page
Well, I
and
might.
look up Jane Fonda.
I might, depending on how wild it is, I might throw it up on the screen now that I have. I need to send you this editing program I use because it's like an actual. Oh, her. Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah, she's honestly very pretty woman. Very pretty woman, but also how your legs do that, ma'am?
Flexibility and exercise. That's how she made her bank.
Like, no, don't. Hey, what have I told you about meowing?
It's okay. It's
No
not
meowing.
picking up on the mic.
Fonda right now.
I wish Casserole's meowing would pick up on the mic. I want to hear him.
It's funny that sometimes his collar does pick up on the mic when I'm recording, and sometimes his meowing.
I've
God, buddy.
definitely heard his like jingle jangle on your like South Park videos, which I still need to watch the rest of. I like left off when you were dealing with Twitch.
Like
Tweak, that's his name, Tweak.
Tweak.
I love
Oh,
Tweak.
Tweak was one of my
Tweak
favorite
and like
characters.
I liked how apathetic Craig was all the time.
Like my favorite characters were obviously the goth kids.
Obviously, they're your people.
Those were the best episodes, the goth kids.
God, I just fucking remembered the fucking like So, I always really liked the superhero episodes with Mysterion because I thought Mysterion sounded like it would be a really good name for a ghost evolution.
Rion,
Mysterion, yeah, that was
Mysterion.
Kenny's like superhero name.
you evolve it with a brain.
No, shut up. Okay, stuff in the shack. Let's get it and light that fire, comrades. We're staying the night. See, can she interact with the fire, actually? Because I swear there was, like, a specific ginger prompt here.
That little girl in the background is always fucking me up. Like I'll be zonked out. Look at that. She's like, no one else sits here. I sit here.
There's
I'm Subway
things
spreading.
that I see that nobody can. I wish I could, like, find this, isolate the specific audio for the version of the song that they use in the game. Because, it's different than the one I linked you from the album. It's, like, more erratic and less synchronous. Also, her breath is so strong. Did you see how far away those flames are blowing? Look at that! Why is her breath so strong? Yeah, you can do that. It doesn't do anything because we've already got the fire in our inventory.
Yay! I love having fire in my inventory.
A fun touch, you can see the hat and the axe from Carmen's wolf over here.
Oh, Carmen. You shouldn't have taken that beer.
Ginger, interact with it. It's giving me the prompt that you can interact with it.
She's like, no, I don't wanna. You can't tell me what to do. I'm Ginger. Open!
Like, yeah, she actually gets it open. And that's...
She ain't quitting.
And it doesn't zoom in. There is always a door, and a door can be either open or shut. The difference is me. I mean, you're not wrong.
She's very, like, early 2000 kids books protagonist where she's like, I ain't gonna let shit stop me.
Yeah, like, it's hard to tell what's in there, but I think it's a seat, but it could absolutely be, like, someone wrapped up in there. But I think it's genuinely supposed to just be regular-ass junk.
God, do you know how weird that would be if you, like, opened up a shed door and there was, like, a dead body wrapped up in, you know, the black trash bag and duct tape?
Well, that's
But then
the
it
thing,
starts,
though,
like,
is it's, like...
squirming around.
Okay, yeah, like, the thing is, like, I was gonna say, like, yeah, that's happened, but the squirming is scary.
Like, it starts squirming around and starts making, like, weird little primitive animal noises, like...
Oh, yeah, here you can see Carmen dead and sad.
Oh, hey, look, your sister.
She
truly is dead inside.
and
Okay,
outside.
Okay. I just... I don't know why that just gave me a flashback. You know how I talk sometimes about a book I read called Dead Inside?
Yes, I don't
Where?
think I've ever seen you more viscerally hate something.
So, apparently, on my little Kindle app, I had saved the sequel to Dead Inside, which is more of an anthology series.
If Dead Inside is the one I'm thinking of, and that is the one that you
Yeah,
hated viscerally.
Dead Inside is the one that I hate more than anything. It upset me and made me throw up a little in my mouth.
You made an entire character about it as revenge.
Yeah, I was so angry about it. I was like so morbidly disgusted.
You decided to show them how it was done, and you completely reinvented the concept of ghouls.
Yeah. So, the sequel book, or, the next book, is called Just to See Hell, and it's like a bunch of short stories.
I'm mad at how good that title is.
And, the first, 2 short stories, sort of weird, sort of stupid, didn't care. One of them was very much a very interesting take on how addiction is, and how it affects people around you, and how when you let addiction take control of the reins of your life, they will destroy everything around you. And it was giving the substance. It was giving, like, Jekyll and Hyde. It was giving. And I wish it'd take it back.
I need to fucking read Jekyll and Hyde properly.
It's a hoot.
Like,
But,
I'm kind of obligated given, my whole brain disorder.
yeah. But, like, the rest of the book, I was like, man, this is gross. This is some gross shit. The last story was really gross. I was like, man, half a star. Half a star. God damn it. A baby does go into a blender.
Well, that was very out of left field.
It's okay. If I had a nickel for every time something went into a blender that was not meant to go into a blender, I'd have 2 nickels.
How many of those nickels would be dicks?
0. They were both babies.
God damn. What, a baby wouldn't even fit properly in a blender. The blender would, clog instantly. You'd have to, dice up the You know what? I shouldn't talk about this.
I'm sorry.
Disclaimer. I have not diced up a baby or anything like that. I just also write horror, so I end up researching really weird shit.
See, in my defense, I like to read splatterpunk, which is extremist horror, which is like regular horror, but it's extra gross and disgusting.
Think Cannibal Holocaust.
It's not even that. It's like, think 120 days in Saddam.
Well, I know. I'm just trying to think of something that almost everyone has, heard of.
Oh yeah. Everyone's heard of Cannibal Holocaust.
We are reenacting that meme of except da-da-da, of course.
But, like, a lot of, back in the day, tribes that practiced cannibalism, usually it was for funerary rites, or it was, something they did on the rarest rare of occasions.
Or it was out of, desperation.
It wasn't, every day pop out,
There are, however, I don't think any of these specific tribes did survive, actually. I think these were some that were gone before, because, I like learning about American history pre-actual Americans, if you catch my drift. Pre-frontier era.
Yeah.
And there were reports from actual natives. They've talked about, warring with actual cannibal tribes. But typically those tribes ended up getting killed off in wars, or there were a couple of them that just straight up disappeared.
Fun fact,
that's what...
human flesh is not a very good source of caloric sustenance.
So,
stick to pork.
The fucked up thing is, most of the human body is not dangerous to eat. You can eat it, it's not gonna be very... Really, it's not gonna be super, nutritious, but it's just like eating a monkey. But you can't eat the brain. You're not supposed to eat the brain.
Yeah.
'Cause...
That's how you get prion disease. Or kuru.
Because it's interesting that the human body specifically cannot digest the brain. God, I hope no one's overhearing me. Uh,
We're just talking scientifically. We're talking some straight facts. Don't eat people, especially not the brain. It's illegal, even if you have consent.
Fucked up thing, my cousin was actually talking about trying to buy human bones.
That's illegal.
It is illegal. Technically, it's actually not illegal. Depending on... Why is... Do you see that? There's smoke coming off of the well. I think that's a glitch.
Why is that well vaping? Samara? Are you vaping down there, girl? Hey! I know you're supposed to come out in 7 days, but quit hotboxing down there.
Yeah, I guess she doesn't have anything to say about the well.
This is the part where Ginger just falls headfirst into it. Just boom!
God, could you fucking imagine? Secret ending.
Secret ending unlocked of ancient game.
Secret ending unlocked 30 years later. Some random YouTuber was the only... Oh, we were seeing the smoke from the fire. It's like a fucking render distance glitch.
Ah. You know, this is the kind of game that would end up being like in a creepypasta. It's like me and my friend played an obscure old game and we found something that we don't think the developers wanted us to see.
God, so fun fact, one of the best gaming creepypastas I ever read was like that about Mario World. Super Mario World, it's the I Hate You creepypasta where it's like you find like the secret level and it's like Luigi wants to kill you. And it was like the first time I'd ever seen a Luigi thing, and it was actually pretty good. Because it had really good, accurate screenshots.
I don't think I've seen like a video game creepypasta that I've really, really liked. There was one where a kid, you know, downloaded essentially like a sort of Sims-like game, and he had just lost his parents, so he recreated his parents in there and started living horribly vicariously in that game because he so badly wanted to be back with them, even though he had a very loving pair of aunt and uncle who took care of him, took him in.
Well, there's only so much you can do with grief.
Yeah, but it was very, very closely implied that he would have killed himself to go into the game, but it was just like the most random small act of his aunt being like, "Hey, sweetie, I just wanted to check in and, you know, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, I can't. She, you know, she loves me. I'm loved here. And then now.
Yeah. That's not a creepypasta, that's a feels pasta.
It was very feelsy, but it was labeled creepypasta. Don't get in that Mustang, little girl. You'll get tetanus.
You can see Ruby. I feel like there's more to find as Ginger, but we're not finding it, because for some reason the flowers haven't led me anywhere yet.
Ah, well. But yeah, okay, so, hear me out. Feels pasta hits me harder than any fucking sad movie could ever hit me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, there was one called, I think it was like, it was about a cat named Ugly.
I've seen that one, it was one of Creeps McPasta's, like, earliest narrations.
Yeah, and I'm not allowed to listen to that one anymore. Because I was in the club, fucked up.
You're so valid. I'm trying to think. I think if I had to recommend a gaming creepypasta, like, genuinely recommend, and you gotta go in viewing this purely as a story. I know the mistake that I think people make about creepypasta is they try to view it from a lens of realism.
Yeah.
No. You're reading an imaginary story on the internet. It is the modern version of a campfire tale, but sometimes it's good to view them as just a novel, a story. And that is why I'm going to recommend to you my very, very favorite story on the internet of all time. And if you think I'm going to say binge around, you're wrong. Godzilla NES.
Okay, I've heard a lot of people talk about the Godzilla NES one, and I've seen screenshots of it. I don't think I've sat down to watch it, but at the same time, I know it's supposed to be very, very good. I think someone else is just...
Mr. Creepypasta had. Oh, hey, we finally found something. Mr. Creepypasta has a really good narration of it. Another masterpiece, signed Ginger.
Ginger graffiti.
Unfortunately, the game cannot render the graffiti. Because it's old and broken.
Okay, so... fuck. I forget what brand it was, but they just announced the color for their product for the year. It's like they make mixers and kitchen appliances.
Was it KitchenAid?
Cabinets and... Yeah, KitchenAid. They announced the color of the year, and they're like, the color of the year is butter! And they reveal it, and it's such a blinding yellow. I'm like...
That's just yellow.
What's wrong with your butter? Your butter shouldn't be that color.
Yeah, it should be more of like a soft pale yellow. Your butter's dehydrated, ma'am.
Your butter is mostly like, I don't know what's in butter. Salt and cream. No, that's whipped cream. Salt and...
Well, you can get unsalted butter. The main ingredient to butter is just milk.
Yeah, your milk is curdled.
You just gotta,
Why is it
like,
that color?
Cream that shit.
Because usually when I see, like, KitchenAid products, it's usually sort of a saturated color.
God. I need to link you the full version of Ginger's Wolf. Called Little Girl. The song is called Little Girl in Red, because it is just an unsettling soundtrack, as you can see here.
What's gonna happen when we touch the scarecrow?
We're not gonna touch the scarecrow. The scarecrow's not her wolf. The wolf is the little girl in red. Over there.
The one that just did like a weird praying mantis gesture?
Yeah, the camera won't focus because it keeps wanting to pick up flowers. Stop. And I'm worried about accidentally triggering the wolf too early.
What happens if we trigger the wolf too early?
Then we don't get to get the items, and I see a flower.
Flower! Run!
I can't till I get out of the wolf zone.
Ginger has ringworm, you know she does.
Oh, I had a topic on the barefoot thing that I totally forgot about from like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But I mentioned I used to never wear shoes. I didn't wear shoes really until the age of 12, and after that I had a period for like 3 years where I refused to wear socks. Anyway, shockingly, nobody knew I was autistic. And what ended up happening twice in one summer was I was running. We had a big swing set that I would literally use to swing day in, day out while listening to a radio. Again, nobody noticed the autism. Because I didn't have friends. And basically, one day, while I was running from the swing set to the house, I stepped on a bee. And I was like, oh, It was my first time stepping on a bee. I was screaming and crying and dramatic. And Mom had to pull the stinger out, and I was like, that's so horrible. I'm going to be so careful and never do that again. 2 days later, I did it again, stepping out of the pool. And it wasn't like an in-ground pool either. I had to like climb out of this pool because it was an above-ground, like in one of those above-ground, like put-together pools that you do yourself. Mm-hmm. Like the really shitty ones.
Yeah.
The ones that are like only a level above inflatable. And I stepped on another bee. But the difference was I wasn't freaking out this time. It had already happened once, so it wasn't as like traumatic, obviously. And I just go in like limping, like holding my foot up so I don't accidentally shove it deeper in my foot. And I'm like, Mom, I did it again. She's like, okay, come here. And I sit down in the big chair, and I'm waiting for her to like get it. And she like comes over to the tweezers, and I just hear her shout, "Oh my God!" And what it turned out happened was the bee stung my foot so hard that like its entire ass came off, and Mom could see the poison sac still pumping venom into me.
Oh, gnarly. I mean, horribly cool, but like gnarly.
Oh, absolutely. It's fucking kind of rad in retrospect, and I wish she had let me see it.
It's honestly, I feel so bad when a bee stings me, mainly because I feel bad, but also because like
Like,
the
I'll
bee,
live.
like I'll live and I'll talk about it. I'll whine about it for the next 2.5 hours on how much it hurts, but the bee will not.
I
The bee
don't
will
feel
die.
bad for the wasp when the wasp stings me, though, because it can sting me as many times as it wants, the fucker.
The wasp has its role in nature, but its nature should not be around me. Like I don't want to be around it.
This is
I
an
don't want to be your
important pollinator and a devourer of pests. I hate you.
yeah, like fucking chill out. I'm not gonna bother your nest unless you bother me.
God, the hornets. I'd rather deal with wasps than hornets.
Okay, so fun childhood story. As a child, I was put into the gifted class
Not surprising.
because you tested it, but we got to do like a lot of fun things, and you learn about interesting stuff like Italy and cool units. And we had one unit where we were focused on basically I don't know what the focus was, but we ended up as a field trip going to a large cemetery in our area called Elmwood. And it is absurdly large. Like,
Wait,
comedically so.
Elmwood, isn't that the name of the city in Arthur?
Yes. But it is.
Oh, Stalky cut
Like-
out.
Uh oh.
There you are. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, Elmwood is a city in Arthur, and it is also this massive cemetery near where I live. Like, everyone since the founding of this country was probably buried there. Like, you could like go back ages. Anyway, there were a few graves, and they had Chinese, and they were the graves of some Chinese immigrants, and they were like the cleanest looking ones. Like a lot of these gravestones were old and weathered, and check 1 2. You hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. Sorry, I tabbed
Okay.
out to deal with something.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they were like the nicest, cleanest, polished looking ones. They had like fresh flowers and everything, and we wanted to like go near them because we were also taking pictures for like our project scrapbooks. And the guide was like, "Be careful! Don't get too close over there. There are bees nesting underground there." And from the
Oh
distance,
no, the
you could
tunneler
see-
bees.
Yeah, you could see the bees, and I was like, "Ooh."
You
So,
like bees, didn't you?
Well, I thought bees were neat, but at the same time, I don't want to get stung. I'm having a lovely time on this field trip.
Sorry if you heard that snuffling. I am having sinus issues.
Listen, is it really a playthrough if you don't, share your sinus issues with the people?
If I don't snuffle into the mic like Tex.
Like a little undead, corpsey armadillo. Calm down!
I don't know why. I love doing the clothes trap. Like a lost old man.
But yeah, sometimes I sneeze an alarming amount when I play.
Okay, but to be fair, you sneeze like an adorable kitten.
Yeah, I'll sneeze, but
When I sneeze, I sound like a dad warding off predators.
what's horrible is like the videos that I record that I sneeze during the playthroughs. Those are the ones that get the most views, and I don't know why. And I kind of know
Listen.
why, but I don't want to think about it.
You need to just, like, accept that variety of money is good. Okay?
Hey, sneeze fetishes. I love sneezing.
It could be worse. It could be the smoking fetish community.
Oh god. Yeah.
Anyway, finish your cemetery story.
Oh yeah, that was sort of it. It was like a big, beautiful cemetery, and it just happened to be where those beautiful gravestones were. They were underground, and we were like, ugh.
Dude, I just had a wild thought. You ever think about the
Go
fact
on.
that, like, tunneling and... Like, we always think of, like, worms and maggots as decomposers, but technically any insect eats meat. And it's very likely those bees tunneled, if they were... Assuming they were carpenter bees or a similar tunneling insect, they probably tunneled into, like, a casket and made their nest there. There's a guy full of bees down there.
Oh, that is
Isn't that
horrendous.
rad? Oh.
It is beautiful.
Listen, I'm gonna The reason I'm so excited for the next campaign is I'm going to use Wanda to info dump all the weird ways I am fascinated by decomposition.
Do you know my favorite decomposition joke?
But
Okay, so Beethoven died, and they buried him. And 3 days later, the graveyard keeper comes to the orchestra, heads of the orchestra board where Beethoven used to work, and he's like, "Come quickly." Beethoven is playing music from his grave, and they all run to his gravesite, and they listen to the ground, and they hear music, and one of them goes, "It's Beethoven's Fifth. Amazing. Wow." It's like the talk of the town. 3 days later, the graveyard keeper comes again, and he's like, "Beethoven's grave is playing more music." They go there, and they listen to the ground, and they're like, "It's Beethoven's Fourth." And this happens again for a third time, and when they run back, they go, "It's Beethoven's Third. What's happening?"
oh my god.
And the graveyard keeper says, "Don't you know, Beethoven's decomposing."
I knew where it was going. Like the second you said the fourth, I knew exactly where it was going. But I love it.
That's my favorite Beethoven decomposition joke.
So stupid. But yeah, I've always had like this massive fascination with rot and decomposition. It's why I'm like really into vulture culture and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I find the way that life returns to the beginning really beautiful. Who is... Oh, it's just a winter storm advisory.
We're getting winter storm advisories in February. Which,
That-
I don't know, have we had Groundhog Day yet?
It's soon.
Groundhog Day.
This morning.
What?
Oh, no.
No, it was on February 2nd.
But also I am recording.
Yep. He saw his shadow predicting 6 more weeks of winter.
Sorry, my sister was asking about dinner. I don't know how much that caught on the mic.
A little bit. I was about to be like, "Hey guys, it's time for your solo with Stalky, where I talk about Puxatony Phil and how fat fucking round he is."
Who?
He is Puxatony Phil, the groundhog.
I think there's 2 of them actually.
He's got his wife, doesn't he?
Well,
Does he have a wife?
I don't know.
I hope he
There's
has a
2 different groundhogs, and like they're on opposite sides of the country. I think.
wife. Okay.
Can you look this up
I'm-
for me? Can you Google this for me with your free hands?
I am, but I misread something. I read on February 2nd each year, Puxatony holds a civic festival with music and food. I thought that meant like the groundhog was hosting, and I was like, "Oh my god, he hosts a party."
If you ever think about how we put all this celebration on different animals, these animals never have any idea what's going on.
His handlers claim to be the experts of the language known as Groundhoganese.
Anyway, we've been going for about an hour, which is our usual time. After this, if you're down, I'm down to record Rose's part as well. Unless you want to keep this recording session an hour.
What?
Oh, did I lose you again?
Well, you did. But I couldn't quite hear what you said. Darn winter weather. The groundhog keeps predicting cold.
I asked if you wanted to record Rose's part after this.
Oh yeah, sure.
Hell yeah. I might have to pause for dinner, but that's it. Anyway, we're gonna go kill Ginger now because I can't find her other shit.
How to become a member of Puxatony Phil's inner circle.
I don't know why. Is it a fucking cult?
Basically, kinda is. The event is organized by the Inner Circle, recognized by their top hats and tuxedos, who ostentatiously communicate with Phil to receive his predictions.
Alright, are you ready to be... oh god, don't come from behind me. You ready to be super uncomfortable? Anyway, I want you to notice real quick. Do you notice that she is nearly identical to the girl in white?
Yeah, sorta.
Her pigtails, though, are on top. And, of course, her dress is red. And also her eyes are black.
I don't like that. Hugs. Bestie in the woods.
Just crushes her. No, that's not how she dies. I wish that was how she died.
Suplexes her.
If that was how she died, it would be a lot easier. Oh, did it not trigger? I don't know why it didn't trigger. I'm trying to figure out how to trigger her wolf, because I can't remember. I don't remember her jumping around like this.
This is how the creepypasta starts. Come on, trigger.
No, not the fucking flowers.
Not the mask. Ah! Oh, she got us.
Okay, this is the trigger.
It breaks her neck.
I think this is the trigger. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Just
Yeah,
two
like,
kids.
Ginger has kind of like one of the most involved ending scenes. Like, you actually get to see some action instead of just like a creepy cutaway of them sitting together. And she's also the first, if you go in order, the first wolf that isn't like a man.
Just goily things.
God, the specific detail of her face being hidden behind the branch.
What happened? What's going on? I'm confused.
You'll see.
This part of the game always looks like depression.
This is kind of what depression feels like. But to be fair, they are dead.
Like in a very sort of generalized how pop culture depicts it. She just flops over the fence like a slinky.
Can you imagine if one of them just like suddenly took a left turn and just fell in the lake?
Oh yeah. I honestly, I would hate walking on a wooden bridge barefoot in the rain.
I would hate walking on a wooden bridge with no like railing.
Yeah, like, okay, railings are so important. So important. Even when I'm playing The Sims, I'm like, put a railing on them stairs.
Even in
Minecraft,
Minecraft, I always put a railing. It doesn't do any good because I jump over it because the mod pack we use has a double jump, but I always put it there. God, I should show you the cool gumball tower actually I built. Anyway.
Oh, is that hair?
I think.
Ew. Fridge. Ah!
Now I want you to notice the shrieking is what happens if we stay still too long, but also it's in tune to the singing.
Oh. Huh. This is weird.
Yeah.
Peacocks. Oh, nice room. Hey. Oh. Oh. This is like what...
You cut out what?
Like
what?
my nightmares.
And do you notice the soldiers are pointed at the scarecrow?
Yeah.
And there's a cat.
Hey, dinosaur.
Oh, it's a dinosaur. I thought it was a cat skeleton for a second.
What kind of cats are you looking at?
Well, I could only see the bottom. Like, at first I
Ugh.
thought, when I was younger, I used to think the idea that she was crawling around, but now I realize you've been shrunk. Or that the room
Hurry
became
out.
incredibly big. And we're back in the hair dimension.
Ugh.
There's a boot.
Hair dimension. Nice boot.
You notice that you can see into Carmen's room right there,
Yeah.
which I think is a very interesting touch. And I will touch on that when we get to the theorizing.
I don't want to touch this. It looks like it'd be greasy and tetanusy.
Yeah. Oh god, you know that like specific color that comes off when metal gets wet when it's rusty, and it's like it looks and smells like blood. And I know it's because blood is heavy in iron, but it's still freaky.
Oh. Feel the rain on your
I tricked you. It's Ginger's room.
Ah.
Anyway, notice the barbed wire?
Did we get murked?
Remember the barbed wire fence?
Yeah.
Strung up.
Did she get caught in the barbed wire?
I think it's implied that the girl in red strangles her with barbed wire.
Why?
So, we'll get into that in a minute. We got rank B. You have found the field of flowers. So, just obviously, because we're late game, we didn't get as much dialogue from Ginger, and I couldn't find two of her items. But from what little you've seen, would you like to give me your theory?
Honestly, I would have. Okay, so she gets strangled by the bar. Okay.
It's implied.
trying
Feel
to
free to think of your own interpretation. I shouldn't have told you that until I heard your interpretation.
I think she just like met like up with someone in the woods to play and hang out with because like her sisters are overcrowding her, which I think is just a generalized theme, just someone to go hang out and make potions in the woods with. And
Yeah, weird girl shit.
weird girl shit. And I would have just said like, you know, they had an accident.
Yeah. There are
Or-
some interpretations that say it was an accident, but it is implied that the girl in red might not have the best intentions.
Just
Or-
go out in the woods and find a fucking serial killer.
Well, when I say the best intention, I don't mean like directly like purposely killing her. You know how like you always knew those kids who they would like hang out with anyone because no one really would hang out with them, but they were very bossy and blasé about the well-being of other kids.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like that to a higher degree.
They were just playing around with some barbed wire and things got hectic.
Yeah. So
They're trying to Indiana Jones.
But like, I feel like there's a deeper representation with Ginger that I relate to a lot, actually, which is why she's one of my favorite characters, which is the fear of womanhood.
Yeah, because as we've stated earlier with Stepford Wives, being women terrifying.
Yeah, because Ginger specifically she's very much acts like a girl in her like girlhood prime of adventure but specifically she's a tomboy, and that's something that especially in the 2000s was kind of heavily discouraged, which this game
Yeah.
came out in roughly I think 2009. That was when it was very like the girly pop era of trying to appeal to girls. Like it took what the 90s did, it like bumped it up even higher. Where everything was girl power and all that. But it was always portrayed with like girly girl, and then the tomboy character was like meh.
Skateboard.
And
Worms in my pocket.
yeah, and I feel like Ginger is a tomboy girl who does not want to grow up and have to stop being who she is. She doesn't want to have to become like a feminine person like her older sisters. And there's also some theories related to the girl in red that she either represents like a period and being forced into womanhood, but I think that that is a little too obvious for given how esoteric a lot of the rest of the game tends to be. Like that's like too blunt, you know?
Yeah, that's too on the nose. That's too easy.
I think, given how we see how they play in the Field of Flowers, it's very touchy. And girls are very touchy growing up. But like, I think it's meant to represent her struggling with sapphic feelings.
Lesbians.
Yeah.
Small queers.
Yeah. And I think I agree with you that either it started out as an accident and went too far, or it was an accident, but barbed wire and the girl in red were definitely at fault. The girl in red probably didn't care much about safety, playing with broken barbed wire fences and such. And Ginger ended up being caught in such a way that she was strangled or bled out.
Okay, hot take. They're trying to, like, okay, this is coming from an area, like, I have gotten caught in a barbed wire fence, and let me tell you, it's no fun. Kind of venture somewhere.
1 sec, you're cutting out.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. They probably were playing somewhere near a barbed wire fence and were trying to trespass by climbing over it and through it, because barbed wire is tricky that way. And Ginger may have just, like, slipped and gotten tangled in it and hung herself.
Yeah, exactly. And the girl in red either ran off because she didn't want to get in trouble, or her attempts to help, because the girl in red obviously doesn't have good intentions, whether, like, genuinely bad person or just genuinely doesn't realize how dangerous the situation is. Either she didn't realize how serious it was and made the situation worse, or she ran away to avoid getting in trouble.
Yeah.
But it does remind me of a story from my childhood.
Ooh,
So at the end of the dead-end street that I lived next to, so, like, the way it worked is I lived in a house on a busy kind of street that was near the high school, and then one house over you would turn and it would have a less busy street because it was a dead end at a creek. And I used to go on walks on that street, and I used to love going down to the creek. But the way the yard across the creek was a horse field, and the fence was very neglected and overgrown, and I never knew why I wasn't supposed to cross the creek, because in my mind I couldn't, because the fence was literally right on the edge of the creek. Even if I was able to climb up the really steep mud wall that was just held together by tree roots and hope, I wouldn't be able to, like, go anywhere. The fence was right there. And I found out after I grew up that the reason I wasn't supposed to go that far, and the reason I wasn't supposed to, like, even get close to that fence, was because that guy was notorious for shooting at people who came over the fence. So I immediately, when you brought up playing near a barbed wire fence and trying to trespass, I immediately had the thought of Ginger got shot trespassing. But I don't think that's right. Because, like, we clearly see the girl in red, like, holding the barbed wire in the flashes.
Honestly, you know what? These games are, like, a really good example of what do you think happened?
Yeah.
And then it's sort of so infuriating to people who want to, like, psychoanalyze, like, themes and...
But for us,
metaphors
it's
and
really
stuff.
fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Anyway, that's it for this episode. We are going to go ahead and record Rose, probably. But for now, we
Ginger got
pause.
ganked.
Ginger got
We paused.
strangled.
She
There's a
got
lot of
ganked.
strangulation death in this game.
We could touch on that topic. Anyway,
Bye.
I guess this is bye for now. Bye!